First of all, right, if he's a newcomer, right, I want him to suck my ass with jelly, what they call toss the salad. That's the slang word, toss the salad. It means sucking my ass, right? With jelly or without jelly. Some people use syrup. I prefer a guy to use jelly, right? I will reach my climate, right? I will automatically get hard, right? I will, come automatically if he's sucking my ass for about 10 minutes or longer, right? It's a sensation feeling, and it makes you feel real good. Most all gays do that, you know what I'm saying? Like guys to suck their ass. It's just like a pussy, right? But the only difference is it's not a pussy, right? It's clean, the person is decent, and the person know that that's an asshole, but in mind, he's looking at it as a pussy because he's in prison. So, toss my salad, let him eat me, and we straight.
That's it, we straight. All right, Malcolm Go podcast.
Back. And we're back with that. Leading with that.
We're gonna lead with it. With me today is Vince, coming back, episode 27 on April the 26th, post free agency, post pre-draft, post Hernandez suicide. So we wanted to get in. We said we'd get a few episodes in the offseason. We've been slacking a little bit. I wanted to do one pre-free agency, but nothing really happened. A lot of the Butler talk, a lot of the Hightower, where was he going to go? Nonsense. Nothing's really there's been some topics we can discuss here today. First off, the big news, I think, is Aaron Hernandez, suicide, death.
He's a fag. He's a fag. He's a fag.
Just get 3 of them in. Start strong. We're starting strong.
3. So he go ahead and kills himself. Gets off. What a sociopath this guy could be, right? To get off. First of all, shocking. He gets off on the double murder. I guess you don't have, it's one murderer versus another murderer telling each other they did it, right? So the guy that Hernandez shot in the face is saying, yeah, I saw Aaron do it. Oh, and Aaron and his lawyers are saying, no fucking way, it was that guy. At the worst, at the minimum, Aaron Hernandez was there when those two guys got murdered. He somehow gets off on it, skates, gets gets a gun charge, then 2 days later, kills himself in his jail cell when he has a chance to really get off because he's got superstar lawyer gets
Casey
Anthony off, and he's well on his way to getting out of prison in the next couple of years, and he go ahead and just offs himself. And then everyone's jumping on the bandwagon trying to find out what happened. He writes 3 letters. One to his wife, or one to his daughter, and apparently one to his gay lover, whose name is Kevin Kennedy. And boy, have those Kennedys fallen off in the recent years. You seen a photo of this guy?
I did see the photo. I would like to see the letter. I haven't heard any of that. I don't know if it ever will come out. It has to come out.
Gallows humor, but let's face it, you never want to stomp on the dead. But we got this crazy voyeuristic attitude in society now where we have to see everything that somebody does. So I have to, even before, when he was writing letters to fans and shit, I was reading them. I was like, why am I reading this? The guy's a piece of shit.
I read a lot of those letters. I don't know why. I read every one. I just wanted to get in his mind and what he's like, what do you do in jail after being a millionaire? It's really weird.
It's fucking banana land. And Massachusetts law, where some people are saying he's smart because under Massachusetts law, you kill yourself while you're doing, where you're trying to do what do they call that? Why can't I think of the word? When he's trying to get the conviction thrown out.
Appeal?
When he's appealing, as he's appealing, if he kills himself, then it's automatically he's an innocent man. So it's like a fucking technicality in Massachusetts law. Some people are saying he's smart enough to know that, and now the Patriots owe his family money, and his daughter's going to get all the money, which is nonsense. It's not going to happen.
No.
Bob Kraft's not going to give him a dime.
And that's what they say, fake news. That's just like news. People need to talk about something.
Gina.
He's not. Nobody floated him that idea. Hey, Aaron, the only one that would be his lawyers, and they wouldn't do that.
You know what? You kill yourself. We'll take care of this all right here.
It's a stupid
take
story.
Take care of it here in Brainerd.
Now what's more logical, that a psychopath with a history of erratic behavior got a little down and killed himself, or he had this elaborate scheme to kill himself so his family that he obviously doesn't. I mean, he did a lot of murdering.
He did a bit of murdering. Also, banging men on the side doesn't help you with the wife.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. I think that's
fake news.
I just think it's garbage.
I don't know. I kind of want.
I don't care. I mean,
doesn't make you a bad person.
It probably could be like that beautiful opening monologue. I mean, maybe he got in jail and just that's where it went.
I mean, the guy looks like he's like an Aaron Hernandez clone, except for way smaller.
Yeah, it did kind of look eerily similar. They were only just like a little more cracky.
He was like a white wigger, but he had all the tattoos on his fucking face, neck, arms, everything. Yeah. And he's from like a town like Uxbridge, where you would never assume that wiggers would exist, but he was dropping the N-bomb all over his Facebook like he owned the word and was allowed to use it.
Yeah, Aaron did that too all the time. Like in those letters he was always writing it and stuff.
Yeah, I think he was accepted in the crowd.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's even close to over. He smoked that K2 before he killed himself.
Yeah,
the shit that Chandler Jones smoked before he went to the police station and got naked. So that could be a thing. He smokes this K2 and all of a sudden takes Stone Cold 316, puts that on his forehead, and then fucking gets naked and hangs himself.
Yeah, some jackass, when they were talking about how it was a conspiracy, it was a murder, he calls in and asks like Dale and Holly, he's like, he asked them if they've done hard time, and
and you been on the inside?
And he's like,
yes, we got this job doing that.
Well, I have, and I'll tell you what happened. It was a conspiracy. The guards just, were pissed that he got off on double murder, so they opened the door and let 5 guys go in there and rough him up. And my evidence, first of all, how is he going to be able to write on his head backwards? That's just not possible. You couldn't do it. And I was just like, what? Like, where did these people go?
But
it's very possible.
Yeah.
Very possible. I saw his handwriting in the letters. It's not very good. So I'm sure it wasn't like a nice stamp, but you could get it done.
All he had to write was 4 letters and 3 numbers. It's not like he wrote the entire Bible verse on it.
Yeah.
On his dumb forehead. I mean, part of me wants to think that Stringer Bell got to him, does him dirty like D'Angelo Barksdale, gets him killed. Like, I mean, honestly, how can you hang yourself? I don't know. He's 6'4", right? I don't know how high these windows are, but I mean, I'm sure it's probably like 8 feet off the ground, probably. If it has bars like any Shawshank movie I've ever seen. I don't know if it's changed since then. I've never been on the inside. But part of me thinks that he could have been murdered only because of that. Because you're 6'4", how do you kill yourself? And that's why they say he soaped the floor so people couldn't get to him. But I think that maybe he soaped the floor so he slipped and couldn't stand up. I don't know.
Well, it's like that jackass that called into that radio show says, it was obvious other people, but this is a maximum security prison. This isn't Shawshank with the bars. These are like heavy doors that slide close on computers when they check in. And he had his own cell. They're not like swinging a rope like the Rock,
opening out of the Rock,
opening the fucking the cage. It's
Satan's
a joke.
Butthole. Did you get out of your cell?
So, I mean, another thing I would assume, the window's like a little maybe shallow, but tie your feet to the end of the bed with one.
Sounds like you've thought of this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I
everyone gets depressed.
I consider killing myself, I don't know, every morning commute. So I think about these things. You just tie your feet up and then hang on the other end. Maybe 2 bed sheets. Who knows?
Who knows how he does it?
He got it done. It's not
regardless.
It is not shocking that somebody serving a life sentence killed themselves.
Yeah, regardless.
Cake eater. He's a fag.
Regardless. Now, on to football stuff. Nobody cares about a dead murderer. So, Dante Hightower signing. Huge. Bringing him back into the fold. He's the next in line. We said it. Tyler Traynor was the only one on board with him leaving the team. Doesn't know what he's talking about.
Tyler Traynor all year. He only plays like half the downs he used to. It's such
clutch.
Yeah. So sick of it. The guy wears a green dot. He
wears the green dot. He's the next in line. He's the Teddy Bruschi, Gerard Mayo. He's in the mold. He's Belichick's go-to defender. He's going to be the defender of the, he's going to be the 2010s version of the Teddy Bruschi, Gerard Mayo. He's the guy. Of course they weren't going to let him leave. He left more money on the table from Pittsburgh, came back home where they know they love him. I got into a fight with dumb Jamie Collins' friend on Twitter. This guy, he's all over Twitter. If you fucking say anything, I don't know if he's a Patriots fan or not. His name is like Jets at your neck or something like that. Bricks, Jets at your neck. And he's from the Bricks. That's where he's from. That's his location is the Bricks. So we got into a little battle. It had to end because it was the day that the Malcolm Butler rumor for Brandon Cooks trade came up. But it came up where he was saying that basically brothers don't like to play for Bill Belichick, that he's like a slave owner and he's like a fucking pusher, and that's why Jamie Collins left. I was like, Jamie Collins left because he had a bad attitude and wasn't listening.
You got a bad attitude and you don't listen.
Exactly.
Oopty fucking oop.
Don't care about your fucking muscles. So anyway, so they sent him out of town, and I think this guy was just bitter. Jamie Collins is just bitter, and he's talking to his friend, who, by the way, is like, I asked him for his connection. He's like, I know Jamie. I was like, okay, how do you know him? He's like, well, he's my third cousin's baby sister's mother. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Not Facebook friends yet, but
they don't know each other.
The request
Basically,
is pending.
He was like, watch, Dante Hightower ain't going to sign, and Marty Bennett ain't going to sign. They all hate it there. They don't say it because that's for the media, but they all hate it. And I was like, yes, then why does everyone come and enjoy themselves and talk to the media and nobody acts up? If they hate it, why do they stay? So, of course, it's been documented millions of times. Players go and find Edelman. I mean, he's not black, but I mean, Edelman, Hightower. They go out and they find their free agency value, and then they come back. You know, they take less money most of the time to play for the Patriots and win championships. They think that it's not a big deal. You know, the bricks at your neck says it's not, you know, championships aren't the biggest thing. It's the money for these guys, which that's why Belichick sends you out of the way. If it's not about winning football games, then it doesn't matter. It's you're not part of his plans. He'll win with fucking Shea McClellan. He doesn't give a shit.
The Brick should be happy. Maybe, I mean, if he's as close to Collins as he says he is, maybe we'll get some of that huge paycheck that.
Yeah, now he's gonna be in Cleveland for the next 15 years, win 22 games, and retire. No one's gonna know who he is. He'll probably be, you know, a Pro Bowl linebacker doing nothing, not winning, and making a huge amount of money. I mean, he got one Super Bowl. If that's all he wanted, that's fine. Some people with championship pedigrees, like Dante Hightower coming from Alabama, that need to win, that know how to win, that have spent fucking 11 years under Saban and fucking Belichick law, understand what it takes to be a champion and play football. So that's why Dante Hightower is a Patriot, and that's why he is going to remain a Patriot and the leader of the defense for the next 4 years for less money than he's worth, I think.
Good things. Maybe we'll get some help on the way.
This team is really loading up to be stacked this year. It's banana land.
Stronger than the team that just won the Super Bowl.
Much stronger. They lost one part of their defense. Well, they lost. I think the major loss in their defense was their second corner. They lose Logan Ryan, immediately upgrade it with Stephon Gilmore, right? So they go completely backwards Belichick move. Belichick likes to sit out the first few days of free agency, pick off the fucking trash heaps, find a diamond in the rough, you know, and maybe he hits on one. He does it. Dion Lewis, little guys that don't make a lot of money. Dion Lewis, you know, Danny Amendola, he got a decent deal, but he's, you know, they Jabal Sheard, guys that don't get big free agent contracts. They come in here and they perform like crazy, and, you know, either they leave and get bigger contracts or they stay, a la Alan Branch, things like that. So they go out, go completely against the mold, sign Stephon Gilmore to the biggest cornerback contract of the offseason.
It is.
Fucking huge. So
which probably caused a lot of this whole Malcolm Butler mess.
Well, of course, the minute it happens, I'm saying Belichick doesn't make this move unless something's happening. So I'm immediately thinking, I think it was the same day that the Cooks Butler thing came up. I was like, this has got to be Malcolm Butler. It's no way that they're gonna put Stephon Gilmore, give Stephon Gilmore number one corner money, and let, you know, just Logan Ryan leave. I mean, he's gonna, obviously somebody's leaving. So I figured Malcolm Butler was on his way out the door. That didn't happen yet. It's very weird because Belichick usually gives out free agent contracts to guys that really perform well against the Patriots, and Stephon Gilmore never really did.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
I mean, a lot of hype around him and a lot of talent, but he's in Buffalo, kind of blending in, not talked about much. Like, people don't know a lot about him.
No, he's
the rest of the country doesn't know his name, so
he's a bump and run corner. He's like a young Darrelle Revis type. He's taller, longer. He's actually more, I want to say, more Richard Sherman type. Long, tall, makes a lot of interceptions, a lot of plays on the ball. He's gonna fight. He's gonna be the number 2 corner here. If they really have 2 number 1 corners now. If Butler stays, they have 2 solid number 1 corners. Probably the best secondary they've ever had. Since the days of, early Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, like 2001 secondary, or Ty Law, Rodney Harrison, Asante Samuel. This is better. This is already shaped up better than the Revis Browner, I think, because Revis was ridiculous that year, but Butler isn't far behind. Stephon Gilmore is a world ahead of Brandon Browner.
Yeah, Browner was he had big games.
Yeah.
But it always seemed a little off balance. It seems like there's a really good balance like here where they could interchange 1 and 2.
Exactly. Butler could
matchup.
shut down number 2 corner. So what they used to do was number 2 wide receiver. So unless it was like against Antonio Brown, usually they'd put like Butler on the number 2 receiver, have him lock him down. Unless it was a weird game plan like the Odell Beckham game plan where Butler's on him the whole game. But usually they'll have Butler on the number 2 guy and then the number 2 corner with safety help or something on the number 1 receiver. So like they did that in the Super Bowl, Julio Jones, right? Instead of Logan Ryan, they had Eric Rowe in there, who also is part of this team in a good long corner. It's going to be interesting to see how they mix and match them, but it's just weird how they did this. They go for the compensatory pick formula and go out and lose. They would rather lose Logan Ryan and get like a 3rd round or a 4th round pick next year, rather than sitting here and waiting, and picking up these big money guys. Because in my mind, Butler deserves number 1 corner money. Patriots have the ability to give him number 1 corner money. Just hasn't happened yet. It's just very weird that they would go out and give.
Well, because it doesn't have to happen yet.
It does. You're right. It doesn't.
They've talked about it. It's Butler's fault. He fucked up in college.
Agent's fault. I think.
Well, not that, but just like when he came into the league. Actually, I shouldn't say his fault, but he's a year behind because of
because he's undrafted.
Yeah, undrafted. So, that was out of JUCO and stuff, and that was on him.
Oh, language, please. So after that, they bring in the crazy Malcolm Butler for Brandon Cooks, or supposed to be the Malcolm Butler for Brandon Cooks trade. Now it's only Brandon Cooks for a number 1 pick, which is ridiculous. Now that they had an elite offense last year, lost Gronkowski. Gronkowski's back now. Now they add Brandon Cooks to the mix, keep Amendola. So basically they traded Michael Floyd for Brandon Cooks, who, let's face it, Michael Floyd played 1 great game, got a Super Bowl ring, God bless him. And I think he's in jail right now in Arizona.
A short bid.
Doing a quick bid.
Tossing the
Let's
salad.
hope he doesn't pull a Hernandez. He's got the jelly and the syrup up.
Yeah. I'm a jelly guy.
If you could, most gays like that, right? Like they suck the asshole.
Jesus.
So this was a shocking trade. So everyone's saying it's the Saints are trying to improve their defense, so they're willing to get rid of their best offensive player with 2 years left on his deal. So the Patriots have, if they pick up the 5th-year option next year, have an elite wide receiver with 4.3 speed who can play inside, outside, has ridiculous production, and they only have to pay him $10 million for 2 years. He's eventually going to be the Edelman replacement because Edelman's 31 this year. They got rid of Welker, I think, after his age 30 season.
Yeah, and he gets cracked.
He gets banged up. I think he's a little bit shiftier than Welker and doesn't take as many big head hits. I mean, Wes Welker's walking. Let's face it, he's walking around with a Marvin the Martian helmet on nowadays. He's a fucking
big ass helmet.
He's gonna be a mess for a
like
while.
Spaceballs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unbelievable.
He had that fucking marshmallow hat he was wearing.
He protected himself with the crown of his head. It was just like
he's a football player, guy.
Football guy.
Yeah, Edelman he likes to keep his face pretty.
Yeah.
Him. So, I mean, you're gonna keep Amendola another year for his clutch performance. You got Edelman one more year. He should get an extension. He got a couple more years left. And now you got Brandon Cooks waiting in the wings, ready to take over. I mean, he's gonna be the number one receiver on this team. They go out, they fucking grab him, and everyone thinks it's going to be a Malcolm Butler draft day trade. I don't think it's happening anymore.
I don't think it is either. I don't know if it was ever happening.
It was a lot of speculation. They say that he has a deal with New Orleans for like 5 years, $60 million or something. And the only thing that would happen is the Patriots would have to get a value back, which I think the Patriots want the pick 11 minimum, right? They don't want just their pick back.
I think that's a hard line.
Yeah, they wanted at least 11 or probably 32 and more. So he was worth the Saints weren't willing to give up a first round pick for him in the first place. His fucking ambulance chaser agent who never represented a football player before is just some fucking Alabama backwards hick lawyer that I don't know how he duped Malcolm Butler into becoming his agent, because I have no idea who this guy is, but he doesn't understand the business of
How'd
the
you
NFL.
pass the bar?
How did you pass the bar in Alabama? Fucking chased an ambulance and got this woman a deal, $10K for getting hit in her Volvo.
Unbelievable.
So anyway, he gets fucking cocky. So restricted free agents, they don't have any juice in this league. They can go out and negotiate a deal, but you have to give up what they're worth, right? It has to be a first round pick, because that's the tender he was given.
Yeah, and not only are they, so the Patriots had all the cards, all the leverage with Butler, but I mean, it was almost like the Saints didn't realize. I feel like the Saints didn't realize, like, they're fucking with Bill Belichick, who has all the power and leverage in this deal.
And they were making a big deal out of, like, the fact that Butler, Peyton and Belichick were good friends. The Saints and Patriots are like friends, so like they're gonna do like a handshake deal on Brandon Cooks, where I give you the 32nd pick for Brandon Cooks and a 4th round pick, and then later on I'll trade you Malcolm Butler when he signs his tender. But
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if that conversation took place while Peyton was fucking like two bottles deep in Jameson, because he's a fucking lush. But Belichick's not going to. Well, yeah, he's going to be friends with anybody.
He's friends with them, but it doesn't mean he's just going to fucking hand you his best cornerback in years, just because. I think Belichick had this idea that he's going to build a secondary. He's got all this cap room. He's never had this much cap room before. He's going to fucking build a fucking bully. And, it looks like they want to go fucking 16-0 again. They got a hard schedule this year.
Really hard. We'll get to that at some point, I think.
The schedule makers really fucked them in the end.
Dude.
That's to be expected.
Yeah, but I mean, this offseason has been probably one of my favorites, just watching, because everything's like, oh, well, this is not Patriot-like or whatever. And it's exactly what Bill Belichick like, because you never know what the fuck he's doing.
He's unpredictable.
He's basically like kind of moving away from the draft, and
he gave up. He's like, I'm fucking not drafted this year.
He's like, fuck this. I'm just gonna pick off the rest of these idiot teams.
Exactly. He's
losers.
He's trading known commodities for guys that are unknown. Brandon Cooks, certified stud. Dwayne Allen, certified stud. Fucking Stephon Gilmore, stud. Instead of fucking drafting guys, when you've got the cap room and you know how to manage the cap correctly, this is the way you're gonna do it.
And I find myself thinking, I'm like, God damn, this team is starting to look good. And then I remember that we didn't even have Gronkowski. Like, I don't even consider us having Gronkowski at all last year.
Yeah, I mean, he sat out the whole season.
He checked in. When he did play, he was half-assing it. It was like a rec league game. He would play a few downs. Then he checked in for one full game got popped and then kind of came back and then left the
Again.
Jets game.
Yeah.
And then we never saw him again.
Exactly. And Marty Bennett so admirably sat in and fucking bullied his way through a million injuries. I will respect Marty Bennett.
Anytime that guy ever comes back, he gets cheers. And if anybody
Roaring
doesn't
applause.
cheer him, I'm going
He
to...
played. How many times did he go down with like an ankle? Somebody rolled up on his ankle. Some 400-pound guy rolled up on his
He
ankle.
was fucked up all year. And he blocked and he just fucking...
Bullied people.
Yeah.
Should have caught the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But he got pass interference. I mean, he had a big year. And he's going to be elite. He's going to eat in Green Bay. I guarantee he's going to eat in Green Bay.
Yeah, I hope he does. I fucking love the guy.
Love Marty
him.
B. Not only for his work on the field, but his work off the field as well. I have a Marty Bennett pillow. in
Great
my house.
imagination the guy has.
Imagination Agency. No, but
Isn't it? Oh, yeah. That's one of our sponsors this year.
Imagination Agency.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So check out imaginagency.org.com.
.com. Something like that.
I thought it was org. But yeah,
Could be
he's doing
.org.
great work over there. And then, order a pillow.
Get a pillow. Get his book. Hey AJ, it's Saturday.
And if you're in the Green Bay area, he's giving away a lot of tickets this year.
He's a good guy. Follow Marty Bennett. The Marty Source Rex, the Black Unicorn. So anyway, back to Butler. So now you got Butler. You're paying him $3.9 million this year, which is well below his value. But that's what he's worth. So you could still extend him. So I mean, Malcolm Butler's got two options here. He can go the Logan Ryan route, where you could play your ass off, your full contract, go get huge payday next year. What did Logan Ryan get? $10 million a year this season from the Titans. He's going to get $10 million. Or you could stay, get a little bit less value, like they offered him last year. He could probably get $10 million now, and extend yourself into the future with the New England Patriots. I don't think he'll do that, since Stephon Gilmore got whatever he get, $14 million a year or something crazy.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Which I don't know what Belichick sees in him to give him $14 million over his own guy, but I mean that's a whole other thing. It's very weird to me.
It has nothing to do with that. It's because one was a free agent, one was a restricted free agent.
No, I understand, but I the thing is, I don't know. He's never done that. He's never brought in a guy. He has once or twice, right? He brought in Adalius Thomas, but he doesn't really bring in free agents and pay them more than the guys on his team that are at that level. So
yeah, but he's not fucking with the draft this year, so he's acting a little differently. But at the same time, it's not like the last time they did a guy a favor and extended guaranteed money early. A lot of people got murdered.
Yeah, that's
so
true too.
I mean, I think ever since then they're cracking down on that. They're like, oh well, when you're a free agent, not a restricted free agent, then we'll talk. But until then,
we'll keep our fucking hands and bullets to ourselves. So anyway, he signed his tender. So the last thing, if it get past the draft and Butler doesn't get traded, it's over. Basically, he's going to be a New England Patriot 2017. I think he is going to be anyway. No one's going to ante up and say fucking here. When, especially the Saints have 3 first-round draft picks, they could take a multitude of guys that will be cheaper and might turn out to be better than Butler, or at least as good.
yeah.
You can put them all on cornerback if they want.
And I really don't think this is going to affect Butler too much. I mean,
I think
I think it's mostly his agent, and he remembers that he was fucking serving fast food, and he said that the other day. He's like, trust me, I know. I'm lucky. I'm happy. I just want to play football.
$4 million this year.
I just want to. I just want to play football.
And he loves being a New England Patriot. Everyone in New England loves him forever. So he won a Super Bowl for the team. It's not like, he's some fucking bum that people are gonna forget when he leaves. But yeah, I think there was word that he was getting ready to fucking get rid of his agent. I don't know if that's true, but it would probably serve him well. I think I tweeted at Drew Rosenhaus to give him a call, because this fucking is nonsense.
Yeah.
I think he fucking worked his way into a corner, and Belichick fucking was cracking the whip and was like, "This isn't fucking going down. This is my way or the highway. You're staying a Patriot, or we're getting fucking big compensation for him." Either way, this is going to be a ridiculous secondary this year, so I'm excited to see how that forms. And so, again, staying with the theme of restricted free agent, they steal from the Buffalo Bills yet again take Mike Gillislee with a 2-year, $6 million deal, which is basically an end to the LeGarrette Blount era. I think LeGarrette overplayed his hand a little bit here. I don't know how much money he was looking for, but obviously Belichick didn't see it eye to eye, even though I know that he loves LeGarrette Blount. And I would like to see LeGarrette do well somewhere, but I just don't. I think that he wanted too much money. He's 30 years old.
Yeah,
coming
he's not. It's gonna. I think anywhere he goes, it's gonna be another Pittsburgh situation.
Yeah, it's I don't know, something about New England that he loves, but there's no space for him anymore. I mean, with Gillislee coming over now, they signed Rex Burkhead. They've got like 4 passing backs, the one lead back, Gillislee. Now,
I mean, and that's madness after the season he had.
18 touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
But
Unbelievable.
he broke the Patriot rushing record for touchdowns. He didn't have a great playoff.
And
fumbled in the Super Bowl.
Some shifty moves that I've never seen.
Yeah,
out of him before.
This was his best season by far in the NFL.
Yeah,
as far as agility, scoring, everything.
It's a matter of time before like NFL comes calling though, because that guy was juicing last year. Something was
ridiculous.
Yeah,
he was like fucking just a second quicker to everything. He was hitting the line.
He looked like a fucking greyhound all of a sudden.
He's fucking jumping the secondary of the Miami Dolphins. Who was that? Byron Maxwell. He just fucking leaped him. And I was like, this guy was a battering ram for 5 years. Now he's jumping guys.
Yeah. I don't
like
love.
he's fucking
I don't.
LaShawn McCoy.
I feel bad. I feel like I should take that back because I know LG's probably a listener. So
he's a big listener.
I mean, whatever he was doing, I'm sure it was above board, but he found a good substance to, I think, lean out just a little bit and
get a little bit more speed,
shifty.
Keep the power.
Yeah.
The only bad moment of his season last year was the fumble in the Super Bowl. But that's the only bad moment.
That around that time was about the darkest time we ever shared in the same room. Me and you were not good.
The darkest time I
want to get back into that, but
I mean, Belichick. This is classic Belichick, right? Stealing for 17 years, he's preached just hammering your division, winning your division, and he does it from the coaching perspective too, right? He steals undervalued players. He did Wes Welker, Chris Hogan. Now he's doing it again with Mike Gillislee. He takes players that are undervalued, maybe in a coaching change, just like they're doing in Buffalo, might not value Mike Gillislee as much. They're already paying LaShawn McCoy $1 zillion. They're in cap trouble as it is. So Belichick swoops in, takes a guy that's led the league the last 2 years in yards per attempt, right? Over 5 yards a rush the last 2 years. Fucking explosively fast and powerful. And this guy actually kills the Patriots.
Yeah.
Killed.
And now, instead of having whatever parking cone they have handing off to him, they have the biggest threat to ever play the quarterback position handing off to him. So
it's going to leave.
I mean,
he's going to be going up against six-man boxes, where in Buffalo it was always 8-man box because that was nothing but a running team.
I gotta tell you, I'm getting all boned up over here. I mean, this is gonna be an awesome,
rock solid.
I'm feeling really good right now. I just got a nice little bump there, little energy bump,
a little fucking
late at
adrenaline
night.
rush right here in a fucking April 26th.
Coming back.
Pre-draft energy bump.
I didn't give a shit about the Bruins. I was just like, I watched it. I was like, that sucks.
They didn't have it this year. The Magic is in Foxborough, baby.
Yeah.
Which reminds me about actually, let me get to this last point, and then I'll bring it up. But the Patriots now, they're playing 3 running backs. They're paying 3 running backs $3 million a year. They never ever have that amount of money in a running back position. They extend James White, right? Give him $3 million a year. They signed this Rex Burkhead 1 year, $3 million. Now they got Gillislee 2 years, $3 million a year. And then they got Dion Lewis, who's now fucking 1 year ago today, we're saying Dion Lewis is a fucking legend. He comes back. This whole team can't be beaten. They've never lost when Dion Lewis was in the lineup ever. That's a weird stat. They've never lost with Dion Lewis in the lineup. They lost 2 games last year. He was on PUP.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so they've never lost with Dion Lewis playing. So they got him, and now he's on the fucking roster bubble because you're working with fucking Rex Burkhead, who's going to be a lock because he's a 4-down running back. He's going to be he's an elite special teamer as well as a Danny Woodhead type. Mike Gillislee, you just gave a 2-year deal to, stuck. He's going to be on the team. James White, lock. You just gave him a new deal. He's going to be your passing down back. And then you got Dion Lewis, Brandon Bolden, and DJ Foster, DJ Foster is a Dion Lewis type. So I think it's either between Brandon Bolden got a new deal this year, too. It's going to be Bolden versus Burkhead. And it's going to be DJ Foster versus Dion Lewis for those spots.
Lewis is I think Lewis is like a training camp guy. I think he impresses.
He did. I mean,
he does really well early.
He won
just
the
in
job
practice
basically 2 years ago in training camp and came out. Nobody knew that he was going to even make the team, and he was the starting running back.
Yeah.
I mean, coming out of camp. So you never know what's going to happen.
And I know Belichick has a level of trust with him. So, I mean, he's definitely got the advantage.
What we're seeing, though, is a whole new offensive scheme where they're going from tight end centric and creating mismatches with their tight ends to now creating mismatches with multiple running backs.
Yeah, I think he might be getting a little tired of the big dumb idiot getting hurt all the time and taking big hits. He's like, this just isn't
I think they're gonna go weird 3 running back sets. They're gonna have at least 3, possibly 4. You never know if they could put 4 running backs in the same game that have legit pass catching ability and running out of the backfield ability on the same formation.
Yeah,
you're gonna have you could put Dion Lewis, James White, and Rex Burkhead out there on the field at the same time. I mean, you could really set this up to be a ridiculous mismatch. Put those 3 guys out there with Brandon Cooks and Edelman and Gronk, and who's gonna stop anybody? There's no stopping anyone.
I think what it is too is just Bill continuing to put the rest of the NFL and the coaches' minds in a blender. I mean, it's just they're at their coaching meeting taking pictures. They're like, "Where's Bill? Oh, he's he's fucking changing up everything. I don't know what he's doing anymore." And he's at Vanderbilt scouting this next stud probably that nobody's ever heard of.
He did it with the 5 wide receivers, which some teams still are stuck on. Him and McDaniels brought that when Randy Moss came here. He fucking basically started it. And then when Hernandez and Gronk come, he starts the fucking tight end thing. And now teams are trying to do that and get multiple great tight ends that can run and catch. And that's what everyone's looking for in the draft. So Belichick's sick of that. Now he's going to go fucking 4 pass-catching running backs. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to change everything. Flip the game on its ass. It's going to be a flag football game out there with these guys. If you can even... It's almost impossible to touch Dion Lewis. Rex Burkhead looks the same. I've watched a lot of his high school tape.
Nice.
And I always
you know how to break down film.
I get hyped when I watch Rex Burkhead in his high school tape. Similar to how I got hyped at Wes Welker's high school tape. He had some of the best high school tape there ever was.
You're known for getting hype on high school tape.
Dude, high school tape.
And just YouTube in general.
I'm a big YouTube scout. Yeah.
Let him free all last year. Our boy that never got let free.
Barkevius Mingo. Poor Barkevius Mingo. Now he's got to go he's going to go be an Indianapolis Colt with Jabal Sheard. I feel bad for him. Although the Colts could be turning up anew. They've got a new guy. They're making trades with the Patriots, giving us Dwayne Allen for nothing.
Just a freebie.
The Colts, I think they're a beaten team. Today, the day that ESPN lays off all their employees for their Deflategate, I like to see it as penance for their Deflategate help. They're, the Colts have already been defeated. The Ravens have already been defeated. Now the Colts are they're trying to basically pay up to the lords the same way that the Mexicans would or what were they called? The Incas or fucking Aztecs would lop heads off on the pyramid and let it roll down the hill.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, they're sacrificing. So now they're sacrificing Dwayne Allen to give it up to the Patriots gods to let them get out of Deflategate hell.
Dwayne Allen's gonna be awesome.
So
I'm very excited about him.
He's a Martellus Bennett light. He's not going to be as dominant, and he's definitely not as tough.
His Twitter is not going to be as interesting.
No, he definitely doesn't have. We're not going to get any good stuff out of him. He's not nearly Black Unicorn levels, but it's nice. I mean, he's going to be, a Marty Bennett type. He's going to block. He was a great inline blocker. He can catch. He can run. He was better before he blew out his knee. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I mean, that's a legit 2 tight ends. You got the legit fucking 4 running backs. You have a stacked wide receiver core. As long this team stays healthy again, I mean, who's going to stop them, really?
And the thing is, like, the injuries are going to come, but it's starting to feel like we just have, like, depth that we didn't have before.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited about Dwayne Allen because of how cheap they got him. The Colts already paid him out all, like, the big money that he was owed. They have him, like, I forget, it's like 2 more years for, like, $8 million total, where Marty Bennett, I think, got $8 million a year, which I still think Marty Bennett should have got a longer look in New England for the work he did. I loved him.
Oh, I think it was perfect because it would have ended bad.
Yeah, I think Marty Bennett was mentioned by the bricks at your neck. I mean, he was specifically called out as a guy that hated being in New England.
I don't
believe it.
I know for a fact now that DeBricks does not know Jamie Collins.
No, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking out of his ass, but he's always on Twitter hyping up himself.
Yeah, it was a mutual understanding. I'm here to work my ass off for you and
get a ring.
It
looked like he loved it. He got paid his fucking contract. Wasn't like he got they didn't cut his pay. So they brought him in. We had a great year, and I'm sure they talked about getting a new deal. But once Dwayne Allen came in, it was over. I mean, and now he's in Green Bay, fucking making a lot of money, and he's gonna be a stud.
Yeah, and they'll be better. I mean, last year, no team has gotten fucked with injuries more than Green Bay. They'll come back better. Jordy Nelson will get hurt again, but they'll be better than they were last year. They'll make a run.
They'll make a good
They'll
run.
be good in the NFC.
They will be good in the NFC, and we'll see who comes out of that NFC because the Patriots, I think, are only playing a 2-game season next year. AFC Championship and Super Bowl, baby. That's the only thing in my eyes. Knock on wood. But,
I mean,
it's going to be Pittsburgh and Patriots all the way there. And maybe the Chiefs have a chance.
The thing is, I'm happy. I do think that Big Ben is at the end of the rope.
He's fucking giving up. He's like, I might just retire.
He's coming back.
Because you are a disgusting fat body, Private Pile.
Yeah.
He's
Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he's just due for, he's going to take a bad hit, miss a few games, come back too early. I mean,
get hurt.
And he's not the same anymore.
He's got Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant's coming back. He's got his tight ends. He's okay. He's got a good team. Le'Veon Bell's a stud. It's just their defense is not good. It's just not good enough to get the job done, especially against this New England offense. So one thing I wanted to get into before we talk draft and dumb Boston Globe was Danny Amendola and how good is that fucking contract looking. So the Welker for Danny swap 5 years ago, everyone hated it. Everyone was like, no, Wes is the key. How good does it look now? I mean, maybe one of the top 5 most clutch postseason players in Patriots history, Danny Amendola. I'm going to go out on a fucking limb.
He's going to make a clutch catch when it matters. I mean,
he's a player that comes to play in the postseason. He may be not putting up the numbers in the regular season that everyone expected. Without Edelman blowing up the way he did, I don't think that the Amendola his contract would hold up and look great or would look good at all. It would probably look shitty. But with Edelman producing the way he does, Amendola is an absolute stud. I mean, nobody has better postseason numbers than him. He comes out, absolutely performs, scored a touchdown in both Super Bowls, the 2-point conversion that tied it this year, in outrageous overtime. He was making plays all over the field. So he originally got a 5-year, $28 million contract. He's basically taken pay cuts, just straight pay cuts, not extensions.
Yeah.
For the last 3 years, it turned out it's now a 5-year, $17 million deal with basically $3.5 million per year.
Well, that's like Belichick being a genius too, because the market was not going to give him anything. I mean, he could go out and talk to teams. Nobody's going to pay Danny Amendola. He's our 5th receiver.
If that, at this point.
Yeah,
he's
probably
the 6th
6th
receiver
yeah.
at this point.
And during regular season play,
He might
Hogan's above him.
You're going to see a lot of. I think you're going to see a lot of Danny and Amendola inactives this year.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be wearing shorts on the sidelines,
Which is awesome, and then he'll come in the playoffs and be a stud.
and that's where it goes into that depth that I just feel like we have that we didn't. It's just like we're gonna have an Hogan or Amendola like
Think about
hanging out in the press box like for like 5 games.
You're definitely going to have Amendola in the. You have to. I mean, think about it. You got Malcolm Mitchell, Chris Hogan, Brandon Cooks, Edelman. That's what, 4? Who am I missing? There's another one. Malcolm Mitchell, Hogan.
Mitchell,
Mitchell, Hogan, Cooks, Edelman, and there's another one. Well, and then Amendola. So he's 5th receiver, right?
Why do I think there's one?
There's definitely
another one.
I'm just completely blanking out. But either way, he's the 5th receiver. So he's not going to see the field much. So, I mean, it's exciting because he's a fucking certified stud, dates Miss Universe, perfect for a Patriot.
Probably fools around with Jules, like on their off days or so. I feel like that they have a real strong connection. I don't know why.
Jules, the bros.
Yeah. People could be talking about. I mean, this is. Hernandez gets spotted for being gay because of the prison thing, but those are they're butt buddies.
They're tight. They keep it tight. They get their nice. They wear their jean shorts together.
I'm not saying that they're not going to like the jelly or the syrup yet, but they slap ass every once in a while.
They're bros. I mean, bros do bro stuff.
I really think that like. Yeah, just stay here. Jules and him are like, we'll take pay cuts. We're having a great time skateboarding in Boston.
I mean, Amendola's family's from Boston. He fucking grew up. Both of his parents are Patriots fans. He's a Patriots fan. He's gonna be a Patriot.
Yeah.
Fucking Edelman's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. They love Brady. They love fucking Gronk. They're all bros.
And Hogan's the same way. It's like they're all like hanging out.
They've
like Hogan's like I made a logo too. Like
they've created a white boy wide receiver fraternity.
Yeah.
Which is it's just a bond that can't be broken right now. It went to Welker, to Edelman and Amendola and fucking Hogan now. And it's great. It's the gift that keeps giving, really.
Yeah. That was funny when I saw that Hogan logo. I was like, somewhere we got to draw the line.
Come
here.
on. No, Hogan doesn't get a logo.
No, he does
not.
not.
We'll give Brady a logo. Gronk, I think, has a spiking logo. Edelman's got his logo.
I honestly thought, like, when Edelman started getting his own hats, and I saw one at school the other day, I was like, even Edelman having his own apparel is a stretch.
Yeah, but he makes it himself. It's not like somebody's sponsoring him to give him his
like
logo.
New Balance, like he's real big in New Balance. I mean, he's a star.
Edelman is now, yeah.
But Hogan, I'm like, Hogan, you don't get a logo.
No, he doesn't get. You can make your own logo and like sketch it in your sketchbook,
Yeah.
like this is my logo, but you're not a logo guy.
That's like me signing like a check with like a weird
VJ
with a J and like turning into like
Put a
some
couple
kind of
numbers in
symbol. Wearing my own hat. Like,
Yeah,
Hogan,
no,
do not show up to the locker room wearing your hat. You're going to get roasted.
Yeah, there's so many guys on that team that deserve a logo before anyone. Like the Malcolm Go logo. Let's face it.
Yeah.
That's a great logo for Malcolm Butler to have on.
I was worried about our podcast name. That was really my biggest worry.
It's still keepable. It's not like it goes on forever. It's a play it's a Patriots lore play. I wouldn't drop the name because it wasn't even Butler that said it. It was the coach that said it. So it was like, it's a Patriot play. It's in Patriots history forever. It's Malcolm Go podcast.
Yeah. I was still rattling in my head. I was like, dude, what could we make a
new
podcast change?
I wouldn't change the name. This is our brand.
Yeah.
And I got a logo.
Our sponsors probably wouldn't be happy.
I paid a guy to
Imagination.
make our logo.
We'd have to run it by Imagination Agency.
Kowloon, Canes, Donuts.
Canes.
There's so many guys.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the hit piece. Did you see the hit piece the other day, the Boston Globe?
Newspaper.
Yes, the newspaper that we've heard.
We will not say that. I no longer say that the title of that newspaper because that's what they want us to do. They want clicks. So they're a newspaper here in Boston.
Owned by the Red Sox owner, John Henry, which is, I'm going to say right now, so they put out a hit piece basically on Tom Brady, where it's not really, they're saying it's not, but it basically is saying that he takes money from, it basically alluded to a point that he takes money from the best buddies and puts it into his own personal charities, which apparently is par for the course for anybody that brings in a ton of money for a charity. So he'll get. So Best Buddies is for disabled children. I think Down syndrome mostly, but I think it's mostly for that. And he's the the endorsement guy. They bring him in. He does all these flag football games and bike races and stuff. He raised $50 million from him in 1 year. So they pay him $3.5 million, right? So Best Buddy gives him $3.5 million to do as he pleases. He puts it into his own foundation, which gives it to schools and other football players' foundations. So he takes $3.5 million, gives it to other charities. He doesn't put it back into Best Buddies or not take anything. So they were trying to make it a big deal that he takes money from a charity, but it's apparently par for the course. If you bring in $50 million and they give you $3.5 million back, you can do whatever you want with it. If he kept it, I could say okay, he makes a shitload of money, but why should he keep $3 million from a charity that he supports?
Yeah,
but he gives it to other charities.
It costs a lot of money to grow charities too. Yeah. They need funding, and that's just how it works. It's not like he's taking it and
gambling it away.
That's what's paying for his Italian villa.
Yeah. Him and his wife make a shitload of money. He doesn't have to take anything. They give him money, and he puts it into other football players' charities and into his own charity. It's not the Human Fund from fucking Seinfeld. But they're real things. Schools and fucking cancer patients.
Good things.
Yeah, exactly. They're all used to help people.
Yeah, but the way this local newspaper, dying piece of shit newspaper writes it.
Failing.
They say, not other charities, they say his own personal interests, things that he's interested in.
Yeah, his
not
charitable fund or whatever.
But his interests, what he's interested in.
Yeah,
then
schools, which I guess was to some of his kids' schools, right? So his kids' schools and other schools. But there was also the Joe Andruzzi Fund, which is a cancer fund.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
Matt Light Fund, which was I don't know what his thing is, but
they didn't care about that. They wanted to focus on his kid's school.
Yeah, which
because
was one of it.
His kids do not go to.
They don't go to fucking East Boston High, right? They go to some fancy school. But either way, he donates to help people. He doesn't keep it himself. And the whole point of this is they're owned by the Red Sox, who have become so far number 2 in this city over the past 20 years. That they're willing to do anything to take down the Patriots. Their fucking writers are hacks that go at the Patriots constantly, especially Tom Brady. If anybody should be fucking lauding a team that's bringing up the state, the society, I mean, the Patriots doing well is good for everybody. Yeah. It helps everything.
And they try to play both sides of the sword because they have the Patriots walk out with the Super Bowl. I mean, they have no choice. They're they have to do that now. People expect to see Tom Brady walking out. They expected him to have a number 6 shirt on, but other than that, they need the Patriots. They need the Patriots.
The Red Sox are so far number 2 in this town. Tom Brady's the biggest star, the biggest sports star this town's ever seen. So the Red Sox had a huge star, David Ortiz, right, for the last 15 years. But Brady even eclipses him by a lot, I think. Football's just a bigger sport now. Baseball was a huge sport for the fucking first half, probably first 80% of the 20th century. And now football's just so far ahead.
Then it was the Celtics. It kind of turned into a basketball town because they won every
80s.
year. Yeah.
When the teams weren't winning, it was, the Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, everyone, they loved every team. Patriots were just shitty.
And there was even a time where, a lot of people said, the Bruins, when the Bruins are going, that's the biggest.
Bruins are a big city team. If you're, in the North End or East Boston, South Boston, the Bruins are a huge thing there.
But at this point, I don't give a shit if you're on the moon. Yeah. This is it's Patriots, and then, 100 miles down the road, it's the rest of these 3 little, basically JV teams at this point. It's a Patriots.
They're bigger than any team, and not just they've built it into a ridiculous dynasty. 5 Super Bowls in 15 years or 16 years, which the record is 6 in the history of the NFL. 6. So the Steelers, I think, have 6, or maybe they have 6, right? So the Patriots are 1 away from tying it with 2 guys. They're tying it with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and the ownership. So they've basically run the fucking rest of the teams behind him. John Henry's jealous, even though he's won three World Series titles. It's just not the same. It's not as exciting a sport. It's not as exciting a team. And they don't win as consistently. They're not as good consistently. They've been in last place a couple times. They've been in, they've missed the playoffs a ton of times.
Yeah, and I think
Patriots are always there.
He's still, and he's a little bitter about Kraft, even though Kraft has he. There's been some flack about him with his relationship with Goodell and all that stuff. But if you're comparing Kraft to John Henry, he's this creepy guy. I mean,
it's just a rich guy that buys teams as
really
as
creepy.
Inventory. I mean, he didn't even want to keep Fenway. I mean, they that's probably part of it too, because Kraft didn't want to move to the or he did want to move to fucking South Boston, and they were going to have a whole fucking place where there was going to be all the teams were going to be there. They were going to put the Bruins Celtics arena, like they do in other cities.
Yeah, Philly.
Yeah, they put all the arenas in the same place, and it fell through. And I think he probably blames Kraft, but they blame Kraft regardless of what's happening. So either way, they're just jealous, and it's going to continue going on this way. So he's got to just mind his own interests and stay out of Tom Brady's business, because nothing that guy does is wrong.
Unbelievable. I didn't want to talk about it. It pissed me. I mean, obviously we have to talk about it, but I had to turn off the radio a lot this week. It was just oh God, we're talking about this again. It's a hit piece.
After hit piece, there was another one. Fucking Bart Hubba Bubba.
I thought
he fucking.
I was convinced
resurfaced.
he was dead.
He resurfaced.
He was dead,
and he takes a shot at Kraft.
What a piece of shit that guy
blatantly
is.
lies. He says that Kraft said that he brought him into his place at Gillette Stadium, his office, and said that he would give him scoops on his own team. I was like, what? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah. Little fun fact about Bart Hubbock is that he got fired for comparing Trump's presidential election victory to
9/11
and Pearl Harbor. So
I think that's 6,000 dead Americans.
Yeah.
And yes, so
and he compared that to a peaceful transition of government office. That's what he decided to do. So that's who
they fired him from the New York Post. He sued them, and then he lost because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
So he became a fool. He was another Deflategate loser. He came out and tried to smash the Patriots for Deflategate. Got everybody riled up. He was fucking dead the minute when Brady was exonerated the one time, and then when he came back and lost the Supreme Court thing, whatever the fuck trial. I can't even remember at this point, but he lost to the 3 judges in the Supreme Court. Or
what
whatever.
Platform did he write this from? MySpace? Who did somebody hire him?
No, he works for Deadspin.
Oh my God!
The same place that posted fucking Hulk Hogan banging Bubba the Love Son's wife and got sued for $1 gazillion.
Oh God! That was a horrifying video.
So whatever, they're all fucking. Oh, did you see the hog on Hogan? You imagine the fucking hog on him? No wonder why that leg drop's so effective. So draft talk. Draft starts tomorrow. I mean, Patriots don't have a lot of needs. They don't have a lot of picks. I mean, they're not picking until early round 3.
The only thing to look out for is, Jerry Thornton is saying that Garoppolo's moving.
You think
tomorrow? So? I don't think so. But
if Garoppolo goes anywhere, it's going to be tomorrow, and it's going to be for an early first-round pick from Cleveland, probably.
So that's the only thing. So after, once the draft starts, if we don't hear anything, then we can just turn the TV off.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's adamant that, even Mike Lombardi, who is my most trusted source in Patriots news on Twitter, says Garoppolo's not going anywhere.
That's the only thing that scares me, is that everybody's so adamant.
Yeah.
And
Belichick will make a move if he thinks it's in the best interest of the team, because you don't control him after this year. What are you going to do? You're going to either have to franchise him or Malcolm Butler, right? So,
but
and if you franchise Jimmy Garoppolo, he's going to make more than Brady.
Yeah, and you can't have that on the bench.
Which I don't think you can do that.
No,
ever.
And
could you imagine paying a backup more than the starter just to wait for this legend to end his career?
Yeah, I think it's just waiting for the Browns to brown, and
they'll fucking, they're trying to move up for a quarterback, and why not pay up for fucking Garoppolo at this point? They can probably snag their number 1 pick plus later picks and then picks next year, and fucking draft another quarterback or just keep Brissett. What's the difference? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, they love who knows? I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I think that they have to go. They have to get their weakest point on the team is outside linebacker and a defensive end. That's where they lost the most. They lost Chris Long and they lost Jabal Sheard. They brought in Coney Ely, but he's kind of a he hasn't really proven anything in the league as much. He had a couple good years. He had a good Super Bowl against the Broncos, but that's really it.
Well, they had some people over in Foxborough today, right?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, a couple guys, but nobody worth speaking about. I mean, they got like Dan Scuda or whatever his name was. Yeah,
from the Jaguars, and then somebody from the
I like how you say Jaguars.
Jaguars.
So yeah, I mean, they need big help. They need outside linebacker help, defensive end. They're going to need linebackers, and they're going to need, what's coming up next year. Probably they're going to need to draft a cornerback if Butler leaves. They're going to have to draft a safety if Chung leaves. They're going to have to. They usually do these things down the road, so they usually do it one year in advance. They're going to have to get someone that's going to replace Nate Solder. Someone's going to have to replace Chung. Someone's going to have to replace Butler, and probably someone that's going to have to replace Garoppolo. So it's going to be interesting. I also think they're going to try and trade. Draft a third tight end. Listen for this name, Harvey Langi from BYU. He's a linebacker.
Ooh, I like that.
I say every mock draft that doesn't have him on it is wrong mock draft because the Patriots are drafting him.
I saw that. I like
100%.
I like the BYU.
BYU is a good school to go to because they're not going to be gangsters or freaks, so they had to go by that Mormon law out there.
Basically, you're saying that they're going to be white.
White. Well, he's a Samoan, and he's like Kyle Van Noy, same thing. So you just know they're going to be good, weird.
Now they're not all Mormons on the team, right?
No, but they have to obey the Mormon. They
have to live by the.
They have to live with only men. You can't have sex. You can't drink or smoke.
Play in the same underwear every game.
Whatever the fuck they do, I don't know. They're weirdos. I shouldn't say that.
I don't know. I could see BYU becoming like the next Rutgers for Bill. That's just a type of place he would pick from.
Kyle Van Noy's a BYU guy. He had a pretty decent season. I think has the prettiest wife on the team, but that's just me. That's a shocker to you. Oh, yeah. I think so. Have you seen her? Instagram that.
I'll do some research.
Bring up that Instagram.
Do some research after the show.
I'm going to have my intern bring up that. So anyway, that's really it. I mean, things to watch. See if they grab a backup quarterback, a quarterback, and then a corner. Things they're going to be drafting for next year more than this year, I think. The first few picks, I expect to go double dipping on defensive end and outside linebacker. They need pass rush help. That's really where they're going to go. So until then, we don't know when we'll be back. Maybe in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. We'll see how the draft goes, and then
we'll see. Maybe I'll get excited. You never know. Something big could happen.
We'll let the league get excited about Peterson and signing and Lynch signing, and we didn't spend any time. We didn't spend any time on it on this podcast because we know they're not threats, and
but also the Saints. Funny that they didn't get any. I haven't seen any shit for signing Adrian Peterson. Do you think the Patriots would have got fucking massacred if they signed Adrian Peterson?
Oh my god, it would have been.
And I'm not crazy for saying that. They would have got fucking so much bad publicity, so much fucking bad hype, and fucking there would have been people outside looking for Bill Belichick's head.
They signed an old guy.
Yeah, they were mad. Well, they were mad that Adrian Peterson even tried out for the team.
He didn't try out for the team. I don't think it was. I think it was a favor. I really do think it was a favor from Bill
for an agent.
Yeah, just the Patriots talking to him. Yeah.
And then he goes right to the Saints.
Hey Peyton, have another shot, and then sign Adrian Peterson. He's old.
See you on Bourbon Street, baby. All right. Until next time, go Patriots, and let's see what happens tomorrow.
Go Sachem's. Happy birthday, Mom.
He's a fag.
Do your job. All right, don't try to make too much out of it. Just do your job. 7-8 months ago, right? All for this moment. It's about honor. It's about respect. We win this game, you're honored. Your kids are honored. Your families are honored. We all three.
Stack receivers, two to the right. Russell Wilson extends the hands he has. Wilson, quick throw. And it's intercepted. Intercepted to Malcolm Butler. Butler has it at the one. Malcolm Butler stepping.
his field goal attempt. Set to go, snap, ball down, kick up. Kick is on the way, and it is good! It's good! It's good! Adam Vinatieri booms a 48-yard field goal, and the game is over, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions! The Patriots are Super Bowl champions! The best team in the...
Hey! Did it!
I love you, man.
Did it, bro. I love you. I love you. You worked your ass off.
You're the greatest quarterback in the world, man.
Hey, I love you, man.